soldier of fortune. Gotta walk through a fire for what's important. The warrior's blood through your veins is coursing. Kill for hire, soldier of fortune. The whole world's watching every move. Take your shot, don't act a fool. All you got and all you ever need is one bullet in the chamber. Really needs to take your game, but ain't nobody gonna save you. So what you gonna do? Ain't nobody gonna save you. So what you gonna do? Do or die, you're a mercenary. One of a kind that's your burden to carry. Go and make them proud, do what's necessary. Oh no, do or die, you're a mercenary. Now the whole world's watching every move. Take your shot, don't act the fool. All you got and one bullet in the chamber. Really needs to take your game, boy. Ain't nobody gonna save you. So what you gonna do? One bullet in the chamber. Really needs to take your game, boy. Ain't nobody gonna save you. So what you gonna do? Now the whole world's watching every move. Still your heart so much to prove.
If it's Thursday, it's time for Mystic Racing League. Welcome, everybody. I'm Ellis Thomas, joined by Chris Smith in the Slingshot Racing Media booth. Tonight, we bring you race number 2 of the Mystic Racing League season as the Xfinity cars thunder around Atlanta Motor Speedway. Expect high speeds, daring moves, and intense pack racing as drivers battle for a crucial early season victory. Atlanta Motor Speedway, a 1.5-mile track, has been a staple of stock car racing since its grand opening in 1960. Built for $1.8 million, construction pushed forward at a blistering pace, with much of the work completed just weeks before the first race. On July 31st, 1960, a crowd of 25,000 fans packed the stands for the Dixie 300, where Fireball Roberts etched his name into history as the track's first winner. Over the years, Atlanta has played host to some of NASCAR's most iconic moments in legendary names. Gordon, Yarborough, Labonte have all celebrated in Victory Lane. No one, however, has dominated Atlanta quite like Dale Earnhardt, who won a record-breaking 9 Cup races at the Speedway. His career nearly took a tragic turn back in 1976 when he suffered a brutal crash here. But as history would have it, he rebounded and went on to capture his first Cup Series championship in 1980. But racing isn't the only thing Atlanta Motor Speedway is known for. On July 4th and 5th, 1969, just weeks before Woodstock, the track transformed into the Atlanta International Pop Festival, drawing over 100,000 music lovers to see rock legends like Led Zeppelin and Janis Joplin. In 1997, the track underwent a dramatic transformation, shifting from its original oval layout to a quad oval design, similar to other SMI-owned mile-and-a-half tracks. Then, in 2022, the Speedway underwent another major reconfiguration, raising the banking and narrowing the racing groove to create pack racing reminiscent of Daytona and Talladega. That's the Atlanta we're racing tonight, a high-speed, high-risk chess match where drivers will have to balance aggression and patience to survive the night. Chris, fun fact, just beyond the track, a small church cemetery sits quietly in a grassy field, its tombstone standing as a stoic contrast to the chaos inside the Speedway. These Mystic Racing League drivers better hope their cars don't end up in the graveyard by the end of the night. What's it going to take to conquer this newly high-banked Atlanta, Chris?
Well, this isn't your dad's Atlanta Motor Speedway, Ellis. This is a very, very unique Atlanta Motor Speedway these days. Think of it like a Daytona or Talladega in a condensed version right here. These drivers are going to have their hands full all night for all 114 laps around here. We got a couple of stage breaks tonight on lap 30 and lap 60. These drivers can go about 60 laps on a tank of fuel. That's a rough estimate. Might be a little more or less than that. 25 cars around here. Should be an epic night of racing, Ellis.
It is going to be an epic night. It's our first broadcast this season. We've got a lot of stories to cover to set the race up for all the fans watching at home. We're grateful for all you who are tuning in right now. It's time for one of the fan favorites for Slingshot Racing Media, the pre-race playing of the national anthem. We'll be back right on the other end of this. All right, back here from the virtual Atlanta Motor Speedway. Thanks for all the fans who have joined us. Let us know who you're rooting for, who you're here to support in the chat tonight. We are going to be giving away a free Chase Elliott Diecast to one lucky chatter. We'll tell you more about that later, but we've got some stories to set this season up. As we mentioned earlier, Chris, this is the first Mystic Racing League broadcast for us this season. They've already raced at Daytona, which means we got to have a recap of what was a crazy, thrilling race and an amazing photo finish at the line. We'll go ahead and watch that last lap and tell you all about it here, folks. The NASCAR Xfinity Series for Mystic Racing League launched its inaugural racing season, and the sixth season of Mystic Racing League at Daytona just last week was an action-packed 300-mile showdown. A field of 25 drivers took the green flag, but in a surprising twist, a couple drivers were sidelined due to technical issues. The race saw 9 cautions, most of them in the final 2 stages. But the final stage brought nearly 55 laps of green flag racing action, even with some green flag pit stops, until a late caution with just 4 laps to go set up this thrilling finish, a green-white checkered. Rookies Daniel Dow and Nathan Nixon led much of the way, while veterans Holston and Shobe teamed up to form a 4-car breakaway. Christian Barnes, fresh off a win in Friday's NASCAR truck race, was in the mix as well, looking to steal another victory. But in a heart-stopping finish off of turn 4, it was rookie Daniel Dow who edged out Andrew Shobe by just 9 1/1000ths of a second in a photo finish to claim his first NASCAR Xfinity Series win. Nixon crossed the line in third, capping off an unforgettable speed weeks for the Xfinity Series at Daytona. Chris, an amazing finish. I think we're in store for probably something similar tonight. As we mentioned, this is a new season. We're going to get learning new drivers, so you got to bear with us a little bit as we learn these new drivers. But what do you expect out of Mystic Racing League, Chris? This seems like an amazing league with some really high quality drivers.
It really does, and if tonight's race, lives up to last week's race, then man, we're in store for a treat this season. You're going to see a lot of similar type of racing this week to what if you did tune into the broadcast last week, you might have seen there as well. Here at Atlanta, it's a little bit tighter, a little bit closer together. The track's not quite as wide in certain spots, so it might be a little bit more chaotic because of that. But yeah, I'm really excited about this season, what we're going to see with Mystic Racing League.
It is going to be an amazing season for sure. Now, with that comes a lot of unknowns, a lot of dark horses. We saw a lot of guys running up front last week. They might return to the front of the pack this week at Atlanta, but next week and the week after, we're going to continue to see new faces running at the front simply based on the style of tracks that we have visited. So we've got that. Now, Chris, let's talk about Atlanta. We mentioned in 2022, this track was reprofiled, as they call it in the industry, turning it into essentially a plate race, a restrictor plate race. No restrictor plates actually on the cars, but pack racing. That brings the question of weighing risk versus reward for drivers. What are you telling your driver if you're the crew chief up on the pit box tonight? It's a 114-lap race. Are you telling them to go for it early, or are you kind of managing your driver throughout the evening?
I think it just depends on what you know about your driver and what type of tendencies you know about your driver. If your driver is somebody who probably gets up on the edge of his seat, gets up on the chip, as they say, you might want to take it a little bit easy. You might want to try to relay that information to them, about taking it a little bit more easy. So. I think that I think the crew chief spotter would play a really important role tonight. And I think you're going to see a variety of different strategies. Some guys want to maybe lag in the back early on and maybe try to save their car for the end of the race, whereas others might feel like the best place they can possibly be is putting themselves, on the offense and be up there near the front for most of the race.
It's going to be a lot of excitement, I guarantee, from start to finish, all 114 laps. Hey, you got some folks joining in the chat right now. We got Tower Operator, Lions Racing, Ricky LaFleur, Ball and Beat saying hi in the chat. I appreciate y'all all joining in as well. The No 79, thanks for subscribing. It's going to be an amazing race tonight, Chris, and it leads us to a lot of technical questions about how drivers handle their runs. With restrictor plate racing or super speedway racing, you're bound to get a quick run on the car in front of you. How patient do you have to be? What's going to show the difference between veterans and maybe drivers with a little bit less experience tonight when it comes to making those runs and making those passes and knowing when to hold it and knowing when to fold it, so to speak?
Yeah, you've definitely got to be aware of your runs. You got to be aware of, where you are compared to your competitors. That's something that we're going to have to keep an eye on all night. With this track being narrow, sometimes you just don't have anywhere to go. So maybe not every single run you get is a run that you have to take. Sometimes maybe you just got to know when to roll out of that gas and just, live to fight another day. And the drivers who are able to recognize that are the drivers that are probably going to be around at the end of this thing competing for the win.
Yeah, and drivers got to be careful about that all night watching those runs. And with all of that, the final topic for any super speedway race, Chris, the big one. You had kind of alluded to the fact of managing your race earlier. Some drivers are going to go with that strategy. Some drivers are going to be up front. You want to avoid the big one. And hey, we saw a couple of them at Daytona last week. It's another super speedway race tonight. They're going to be racing in packs separated by just mere inches. I think we're going to see that. Is there anything you can do to avoid the big one besides just running way behind the pack? What does it take for drivers who are running with everyone else to maybe avoid catastrophe in this race?
There are some things that you can do to maybe make the odds better, but other than just having a golden horseshoe stuck somewhere on you, I don't think there's really anything that you can do. The inside lane is probably the best lane to try to avoid, disaster. But that's, not always an option. And just because you're on the inside, because you have that escape route, doesn't mean you're always going to get by the crash.
Yeah, well, I suspect there's going to be a crash. We'll hold our breath. We hope not. We cross our fingers for that. But I know the fans at home will be excited to see some of that excitement break loose as we go through these 114 laps. We appreciate everyone joining in. A couple things to go over before the race. We are going to be doing some trivia later on, just a minute before we get ready to grid up and take the green flag. We're going to do 3 trivia questions. The way that trivia works for the fans at home in the chat, we'll display the question on the screen. There'll be 4 options for your answer. First two people to answer the question correctly in the chat with the correct answer will get a point on the board. The person with the most points on the trivia board at the end of the evening will be sent a Chase Elliott diecast. Georgia driver. We are in Georgia tonight. Chase Elliott truck diecast 1/64 scale. We'll send that absolutely free of charge. Just to thank you for being a participant in our broadcast. We love to make these things engaging. So if you are in the chat, or maybe you're not, maybe you've never chatted on YouTube, pull up that chat window and let us know who you're rooting for tonight, Chris. Just about a couple seconds left in qualifying. We're going to go through this starting grid to see where these drivers are going to queue up for the evening. The grid has been officially set for race number 2 of the Mystic Racing League season here at Atlanta. Drivers going to be hitting the grid momentarily, and it's going to be Nathan Nixon on the pole tonight in that number 40 car. Bobby Rafferty going to be starting second in the 7 car. Daniel Dow, last week's Daytona winner, going to be gridding up from 3rd position tonight with Chris. We've seen this guy before in our Super Speedway series about a year ago. Kevin Winker is no slouch on these Super Speedway tracks, especially in that number 42. He's going to be hard to deal with tonight, starting from the outside of row number 2. Alex Pollock going to be starting 5th in the number 92. Adam Emery rolling out the outside of row 3 in 6th position. David Wallace starting 7th. With Derek Jewett to his outside in 8th. Adam Holston going to be starting in 9th with Christian Barnes not far behind, starting in the 10th position in that 27. Aaron Espy in the 16 going to be starting 11th. Andrew Shobe starting 12th tonight. Zach White going to be starting in the 77 from 13th position with Aubrey Lord to his outside. Jared Knopsider in that number 82 starting on the outside, I should say the inside of row number 8 with Brett Wren in the 24 to his outside. We're going to be checking in with Brett throughout the race, Chris, to see what his heart rate's doing. We'll talk more about that here in a little bit. Fun piece of technology we're going to be using. Caleb Hunt starting 17th in the 78. Bradley Knopsider, it looks like there might be a family relation between him and Jared, going to be starting 18th in that number 87. Benjamin Gerhardt in the 1 starts 18th tonight. Landon Charlo coming from 20th position in that 48. David Moyer going to be starting 21st in the number 47. Reggie Kime, 22nd on the outside of row 11 in that 9. That's good looking paint scheme. It's like a Scooby-Doo thing going on there. Robert McKay in the 88. Hellman's Cardale Jr. fan apparently going to be starting 23rd. Stephen McComas starting 24th in that number 70. Red, white, and black car tonight, or I should say red, white, blue, and black car. Joey Beam in the 41 starting in the 25th position. Mike Madden starting 26th in the 19. Joshua Gillen will start on the outside of the inside of row 14 with Drew Hensley starting tail end of the field in that 28 car. Pace car leading them down the backstretch into turn 3, Chris. I think we're going to be going green this time. I don't think they've added a pace lap. We will have the pace car pulling off, Chris. Any last words of advice to your driver if you're the crew chief?
Just that you can lose this race very early with some aggressive moves. Can't win it this early, but you can definitely lose it. So we'll be keeping our eye on that all night tonight.
So it's going to be Rafferty and Nixon leading them down the line. Rafferty on the inside, Nixon on the outside. They take the green flag to put us underway. Race number 2 of the Mystic Racing League season for the Xfinity cars is live. It's going to be Nixon and Rafferty dashing down into turn 2. It's going to be, looks like Dow now close to second place. That's one car behind. It's Hensley and Nixon. That 28 Chris got shot out of a cannon. He's quickly going to the front in that number 28. Looks like Nathan Nixon is going to hold on to the lead now down into turn 3. It's Nixon, Dow, and Rafferty. Nixon, Dow, and Rafferty. One car in the wall back there. Just a little bit further back. Yellow is out.
Yeah, we got several cars
Caution
involved.
for the first time on the speedway.
Yeah, the first car I saw around right here.
Looks like that might have started.
Yeah, the 48
Yeah, go
right
ahead.
here. I was going to say the 48 was the first car I saw around right there. That was Landon Charlo. We're going to go back right here and see if we can determine what happened.
Figure out what happened.
Oh, yeah, it looks like some contact between he and the 78 right here. That looks like Caleb Hunt in that Twitch Toyota. Well, we're going to try to slow this down here.
Oh, yeah. That Twitch 78 kind of slid up the track just a little bit. Maybe got a little bit loose and wiggled on up the track into Charlo.
Yeah, and I think there might have also been two separate incidents going on. I think there was a pink car up ahead as well. And that, man, there's a couple cars that hit really hard right here. I believe that's the number 70 right there of Stephen McCombs. Now, Ellis, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there is one fast repair tonight. So I think that these drivers are able to
There is one fast repair.
Yeah, they're able to get some of this damage fixed right here. We're going to go back.
These guys are going to be just fine.
Yeah, we're going to go back and ride on board with Stephen McComas right here. We're going to see if we can actually watch this from his roof cam. See, he's riding up high right here. He's right behind that Scooby Snacks Ford up ahead.
Might have been distracted by the Scooby Snacks.
Yeah, I wouldn't blame him at all. And here they go down into turn 3 right here. And yeah, there is a car up ahead in the wall. Yeah, it looks like that 78 just slid up the hill, got into the 48. Oh, Stephen was almost through that. And unfortunately, big damage to his car right here. But yeah, you can hear the engine blow as well. So he's definitely going to have taken a tow back to pit road.
Yeah, that Ancient World Gaming is no worse for wear, though, after that quick repair goes into effect. A couple drivers going to come down pit road to take care of that. Looks like we saw Charlo, Hensley, McKay, Hunt, Kime, and McComas all involved, but they're going to take their quick repair, I'd imagine, most of them at least. Leader's going to stay out on the track. We only had one lap on those tires before chaos broke loose in one of the corners. Right now they're going down the backstretch. Chris, I was fairly surprised at how tame the front of the pack was. At least the first 5 or 6 cars looked like they were kind of willing to play it safe for the first lap or so at least. Who knows what would have happened after the first lap went by, but right now we're on lap 3 of 114. It's Nixon, Dow, Rafferty, Winker, Pollock, and Jewett are your top 6 right now. And Chris, we're still learning paint schemes, so we're not going to be as fast as we will here in a couple of weeks once we've learned these guys. But it looks like Daniel Dow is in the number 28 on track. He's showing up as number 2 on my end, but that is the red and white car, Chris, correct? Am I seeing that correctly?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. I just wanted to make sure. And then we've got, looks like Adam Holston, not too far behind there, Rafferty, and then Barnes as the running order adjust just a little bit. Looks like the lights are going to go out of the pace car. Drivers choosing their starting position, whether they're on the outside or inside, have to pull to the top or the bottom right before the start-finish line, Chris. And it looks like Kevin Winker is going to take a chance here. He's going to be the first car on the outside. Looked like the top 3 or so were willing to keep that inside line. Do you think there's a little bit more of a comfort factor on the inside for those drivers? It's a little dicey up top right now.
Well, I think there is some comfort there. Like I said before, you do have an escape route in case there is some trouble. You can duck down to the apron if you need to, whereas up top, you've got the wall in your way. So I do like the aggression right here by Kevin Winker, though, and possibly want to utilize that momentum on the top to grab the lead, maybe.
It could definitely be a good thing. We are back underway here. For the second time tonight, it's going to be Nathan Nixon, Daniel Dow second. Winker's going to fall back to third after starting on the outside. Adam Holston in that bright purple and blue number 8 slots into fourth. Top 6 single file, yet all the way back to David Wallace in the 08 with Brett Wren right behind him, along now with Michael Madden to find the first battle in the pack side by side. Wren on the outside right now in 11th, trying to hold on to 10th, I should say. Michael Madden goes for the pass on the inside, and Chris, looks like some of these cars are struggling a little bit with handling up top right now, so I can definitely understand why those leaders chose that inside starting position. Right now, single file, nose to tail, all the way back to now 11th position with Brett Wren. Everyone getting settled in. I think probably everyone maybe got caught off guard by that first lap caution, just wants to get a few green flag laps under their belt. Nathan Nixon leads. Chris, one car up the track right now. I believe that might be the 92 of Alex Pollock making a move on Derek Jewett. Pollock to the outside. He's got some momentum. He's going to get by that RC Cola car of Christian Barnes all the way now upside of Bobby Rafferty. Now going for Adam Holston. Look at that 92 shot out of a rocket on the outside. They rocket down the backstretch. Kevin Winker says, I think I'll lead this train down into turn number 3. Winker to the outside, back to his starting position on that restart. He's got some momentum now on Daniel Dow, last week's winner at Daytona. Can Winker take the lead? He will lead that lap here at Atlanta over Nathan Nixon in the 40. It's right behind is Alex Pollock and Daniel Dow, Chris. They lasted about 5 laps before they decided to go full bore, double file racing here. Pollock a little bit loose off the corner, but it's Nixon and Winker leading the way down the backstretch on lap number 8.
Yeah, real close action right here, and we're seeing a lot of aggression on that top lane. Those guys were really wanting to push forward right here, but I think they've gotten a little bit disorganized here, Ellis. Looks like that bottom lane's a little bit better bunched up coming on the front stretch.
Yeah, it looks like there's a little bit more grip down there. That's something we've been seeing all night long. Winker loses a little bit of momentum and a little bit of timing off the corner. He's side by side looking to pinch that 28 down. How nervous are you if you're the 28 with that 42 to your outside? Does that make you uncomfortable a little bit if you're the driver in that cockpit on the inside?
Well, anytime you see the driver on the inside, maybe wiggling around a little bit, yeah, you might want to think about giving them just a little bit more room, giving them a little bit more space. And, it looks like we might have had a car tag the wall right there on the exit of turn 4. But they keep it all straight right here. And Atlanta, Ellis, it's really hard because it's a dog-leg shaped front stretch. It's really hard to maintain like the straightness in the line. And, this is the best way I can describe it. Because, you're having to juke the wheel a little bit more than you are at, like, Daytona and Talladega. Man, that 28 on the inside is really free right down there.
Loose. Winker, though, he's got all the momentum on the outside. He's going to try to bring Alex Pollock and that black number 92 with him on the outside. Right now, it's Nixon, Winker, Dow, Pollock, Holston, and Barnes. It is double file racing all the way back to the 13th position, Chris. This was tame for the first few laps, but we have heated up. They soar down the back stretch, Chris, and boy, a big old bump from the 28 of Daniel Dow to the back of the 40 of Nathan Nixon. Nixon gets loose. It looks like Pollock wiggles up the track a little bit as well, maybe with a little bit of help from Christian Barnes in that 27. He loses ground to Winker, and suddenly Winker does not have a partner behind him, but help is on the way. You can see just how quickly these runs come and the closing rates close up for these drivers. You got to hit those runs just right.
Yeah, Daniel Dow closing up on the rear bumper right here of Nathan Nixon. Going to give him a big old push down the backstretch right here. Oh, not a big push right here. Yeah, he's being smart right here. It's way too early to be giving big bump drafts at this stage of the race right here. And I think that maybe we just had I think that I might have had connection flash right there myself, but it looks like everybody's back, and yeah, we're back green here.
Yeah, back green, double file down through turns 1 and 2. The 28 of Daniel Dow, last week's Daytona winner, wiggles up the track just a little bit to try to find some room. Oh, big bump to the back of the number 40 of Nathan Nixon. Meanwhile, Adam Holston, Chris, he's kind of been holding his own there right around 4th, 5th position in that purple and blue car. That is one that you're not going to miss. Looked like we might have had one car up in the wall just a little bit, the 27 potentially. But these drivers bouncing off of the asphalt a little bit too much for my liking in terms of, I think I'd be a little bit nervous. I'd be heading to the back of the pack, but I'm overly cautious in these things. That's something, Chris, we always struggle with is our restrictor plate or our super speedway strategy. You always want to run up front. I'm always overly cautious. I run in the back, and we're going to see which strategy is going to pay off tonight. The 40 of Nixon wiggles up the track with some help from the 28 of Daniel Dow. And boy, that was a moment, Chris. That 40 was lucky to hold on, holding a pretty steering wheel there. That might go on to be the save of the race as we move through the evening. Right now, one car getting past on the inside apron coming out of pit road. 15 laps have gone by here at Atlanta of 114 tonight. We got a stage break coming up at lap number 30. We're halfway there. These drivers, 15 laps is a lot, and a lot can happen right now. Going through the field a little bit further back with some tight battles. Just looking back in the 17th position right now, Benjamin Gerhardt working on Jared Knopsider in that number 82. Gerhardt got by on the outside, working now towards the 73 of, looks like Adam Emery in that bright purple car. Chris, we've got some good racing going on all around the track right now. I don't know what to focus on.
And I want to apologize to the folks watching at home if you see all the cars disappear. I am having a little issue with my ISP tonight. Everything was fine before the race, and now all of a sudden, once the race has started, we're having a little bit of trouble. So it looks like it's very intermittent and coming and going. So hopefully that stuff will stay away for the rest of the broadcast. But we've had a couple of flashes of that.
Fingers crossed. And there's been some flashes on the track tonight. It's all Nathan Nixon, Kevin Winker, and Daniel Dow right now up at the front, Chris. It's a great race. These drivers, how much is tire wear going to impact how this race goes? Do these drivers have anything to worry about with tires? They've got 2 sets left in the pits.
Yeah, Ellis, I think that it's been a long time since I ran around New Atlanta, but I used to think that New Atlanta could honestly turn into how the old Daytona restrictor plate package worked, where handling would start to matter later in a run. And, oh, man, and that was some aggressive bump drafting on the bottom right there, but everybody keeps it straight. Everybody's doing a great job. I kind of hope that we get to that stage, Ellis. I kind of hope that handling does matter. I think that this place, more than Daytona and Talladega today, handling does matter and tires do come into play.
Yeah, if we get there, it's likely going to be on that final stage after lap 60 to 114. That's going to be roughly 54 laps. It's going to be our longest run of the evening. Right now, man, this feels... Oh, one car down to the inside. That is Landon Charlo, I believe, in that number 48. He drops back just a little bit. All is well, though. No one gets involved in that. Not sure what happened to the 48, but side by side, you haven't missed much up at the front. Winker and Nixon have been doing battle back and forth, trading blows for position. Chris, one thing I want to talk about, we asked these drivers for some information about them all season long. And one of the favorite questions that we got to ask drivers is what their spirit animal is. I'm looking at Charlo, but actually Adam Holston, the 8, says he's a shark. That's his spirit animal. What do you think he means, shark? Like, does he smell blood in the water right now? He's going for fourth position, now for third position. He's been running up front early on tonight, and I believe that number 8 car started all the way back in the 9th position. So he has moved up some spots early, working on the back bumper of that number 28 of Daniel Dow, who's a little bit loose in the corner. I'm curious, can we get on-board shot with that hollow board and see what the view out of the front end of that number 8 looks like as he watches the 28 bump the back bumper of the 40?
Yeah, absolutely. You're riding on board with him right here in the 8. This is Adam Halston. And yeah, you can see his roll speed in the center of the corner. Now, this is going to come in handy maybe in some of the more conventional racetracks we go to, Ellis. Here at Atlanta, where the draft is, it's very important. It's not as big a deal, but yeah, we're going to be able to get a chance to see, how these drivers compare to their competitors in the center of the corner.
And right now, you can see just how bumpy these drivers are experiencing the track right now. Wiggling all over the place a little bit. It's not easy, and meanwhile, they're going upwards of 180 miles an hour plus into those corners. So this is no easy task for these drivers. Super speedways often get a rap for being easy. You really don't have to do anything, but you have nerves of steel to run up front around any of these super speedway tracks. Atlanta, one of the toughest for sure, because it's combining those tighter racing, narrower racing services than Daytona or Talladega. So double file right now. And by the way, Adam Holston, who we're running along with, finished 4th place at Daytona last week. No big deal. We're under caution for the second time tonight. Looks like that might have been the 18 of Robert McKay. We're going to see if we can go back and see what happened. He might have been on pit road, actually.
72 of Aubrey Lord is definitely involved in it. We're going to go back, Ellis, and see if we can determine what happened. Here's the 72 right here of Aubrey Lord coming off of turn 2. Looks like he's got the 48 to the outside, and
maybe a pit road calamity.
Yeah, pit road's a little bit strange here. Oh, yeah. Now, actually, it was a crash up ahead. The 28, the 16 were involved. Yeah, I don't like to rewind here, but I'm going to rewind here because we're not familiar with all of our drivers yet. We're going to get familiar with them, though.
Oh, yeah.
The 28 of Drew Hensley up ahead is looked like who had the initial trouble. Up into the wall, got loose. It's going to tag the 16 right there of Aaron Espy. And that's going to collect the 72. The 47 slides. Now, Ellis, like we talked about before, the good news, a lot of these drivers, they have a fast repair remaining.
Yes, they do have a fast repair. They're going to be able to take that. Aaron Espy, Drew Hensley, a lot of those drivers we saw just involved in that, the 47 as well, are all going to be able to come down pit road. David Moyer fans will be glad to know that these drivers, if they haven't used that quick repair yet, they've still got it in their pocket. The big question here is I'm not sure now on lap 25 if this is going to mark the stage caution or not. I'm going to see if we can't find that out in just a moment, but at the very least we might have a green-white checkered for the stage finish here. And stage points do matter. Those do accrue over the course of the season, with the top 10 getting stage points after each of the first two stages. So if you think racing has been intense so far, just wait, because it's probably going to get more intense if we do get a restart here before the end of this first stage on lap number 30. I'm curious. I think we'll probably be able to find out if we see these cars pit. Have they had an opportunity to pit yet? I think they maybe have, and they did not take it. So I think we might get a green-white checkered for this stage finish. Not seeing drivers take the pit road exit yet.
Yeah, nobody. So Ellis,
No.
It doesn't look like anybody's coming to pit road here. And pit road here is something that we got to keep our eyes on, Ellis. With it, the entry being all the way back at turn 3. We'll have to keep our eyes on that all night and see if there's any issues there. If these guys follow the same way that it is in real life, I'm not sure if they do here in the sim or not. We'll have to watch that all night. But it looks like they're making the choose here. And Alex Pollock is going to move up here to the second spot. Going to gain a lot of ground here.
Yeah, we saw that work for Kevin Winker a little bit earlier. You can definitely hang with the leaders on the outside. It's a great way to get yourself towards the front. And Pollock in that 92, that black 92, took advantage of that there. The 08 of David Wallace, Chris, he's moved his way up to the 4th position after starting 7th. He's got a good run going as they work their way down the backstretch, getting ready to come to here a 4-lap shootout, I would imagine, for stage 1 points. Daniel Dow in that 28 back to 5th position. Adam Holston in 6th. Christian Barnes right now in 7th, with Bobby Rafferty in that number 7 back in 8th position. I think it's going to get wild here. You think it's a good call to go up top right now, even though we've seen Nathan Nixon kind of control this race from the bottom?
Well, you know me. If it's a speedway race, I always like to be on the top. If we're 2 wide or if it's 3 wide, I'd much rather not be on the bottom. I'd much rather be anywhere but the bottom. So, I like the call. I like the idea right now. Especially if you were further back, you can definitely gain some ground, gain some positions on this start.
The 92 of Pollock, Winker, and Wallace definitely going to be looking to gain some positions. Pace car pulls off. We're going green for the 3rd time tonight. It's going to be Nixon leading the way. Great restart for Nixon. Winker's going to take advantage of a bit of a slip-up by Alex Pollock on the outside. Can Daniel Dow carry with him down into turn 1? Pollock continues to climb the banking in turn number 1. It's going to open a hole for Adam Holston. It's going to be a 3-car breakaway here. Nixon, Winker, and Dow looking for stage points here. A stage win, especially 4 laps, coming for 3 laps to go, I believe, depending on when they're going to throw the caution for this stage. But right now, Winker all over the back bumper of Nathan Nixon in that number 40. Sideways, just a little bit of a wiggle off of turn 4. Lap 27 is in the books. That 27, by the way, Christian Barnes, shot out of a rocket on top right now, trying to do work with Michael Madden. To the inside, they got to be careful. Michael Madden slides up just a little bit in that number 19. Now he comes into the top 5 fray. Chris, this is going to get dicey. Single file right now. The 40 and the 42, Kevin Winker, nose to tail. Adam Holston climbs the banking to the outside. I'm curious where that 8's going to go, if that outside position can gain him any momentum. He's got the 27 of Christian Barnes coming up behind him. How much does that car help pushing from behind Chris? Winker comes down the 28. The 28 had to lift off the throttle. Yep. Last week's winner, Daniel Dow, gives up a lot of time. Winker to the outside. He's got Holston as well as Barnes to his outside. Are they going to be able to take down Nathan Nixon on the inside? I believe, Chris, we're going to be coming to the stage break flag this time. We'll see. If they do, it's going to be Winker who wins that stage with the 40 of the 40 of Nathan Nixon to the inside. We're still under green. They've got at least one more lap. Yeah, they're going to do it when they cross the line, probably.
Yeah, the completion of lap 30 will be when they throw. Oh, never mind. It looks like, no, it's just pit road's closed. I think that's all that is.
Caution is out right now. So it was, I believe, Winker who won that stage coming to the line. Nathan Nixon's going to be second. Not sure after that.
Yeah, we're
going to have to wait to see where the timing scores these guys.
Yeah, we'll have to see what the ruling from the league officials are on that one as far as who was the and that'd be a good chance for us to, confer with them, is it whoever leads when they cross the line, or is it whoever's leading when they throw the caution?
Yeah, we will definitely do our best work to find that out right now. But Nathan Nixon, Daniel Dow, top two. Kevin Winker, we're going to re-rack them here, I'm sure. Driver's going to have an opportunity to come to pit road here to get a fresh set of tires. What we'll do is we'll watch those green flag pit stops, see where the drivers come out. We'll take a quick break, maybe do a little bit of trivia before we get back gridded up for stage 2 here. We'll see who comes down pit road. Looks like pit road open that time.
I don't think it is because I
think it's closed.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it looks like we are having a little bit of a... I thought we were having some confusion there, but I think that they've got it all sorted out right here. Yeah, and saw somebody say in the chat right here that they can't see the positions clearly. Yeah, well, I know that we're having a little bit issue with the ticker, with positions on the bottom half of the top 10 in the ticker. We apologize for that. This is a new build that we're working with, and we're going to try to have that straightened out before next week for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. First week, you're going to have to work through some of those issues, dial everything in, add some oil to the machine. We'll get everything dialed in. Right now, these drivers looking to get their cars dialed in on their first pit stop of the evening. I think they're going to be happy to get a fresh set of tires for this stage 2, 30-lap stage coming up here before we hit the final stage at lap 60. Chris, how important is, I know we talk about caution flag, yellow flag pit stops definitely being a little bit easier, but what do drivers still have to pay attention to under caution that could really cause problems for them if they miss their marks?
Talking about under caution?
Yeah. Just pit stops in general.
Well, I always like to tell, my fellow drivers, fellow competitors that when we come to pit road, try to stay as far right as you possibly can because you want to try to make sure that everybody's got, best line of sight for their pit stall. That is super important as we see some drivers right here that are making their pit stops, that have made their pit stops, that maybe were a little bit deeper in the field. Always try to stay to the right so that way everybody can see their pit stalls really well. Yeah, and that's probably the biggest thing. Don't turn in too soon to your pit stall as well. I know that some leagues are a little bit more picky about it than others, so I'm not sure where these guys stand on that. I know that in the past, Ellis, that we've always tried to only turn into our stalls maybe 3 stalls away and not right in there to them. So it kind of just helps with vision. And man, when we're out here just pacing like this, just try to keep a normal pacing speed.
Yeah, and they are right now pacing around the track, right around 55 miles an hour, coming down the backstretch. They've taken their choose at the line, Chris, and Kevin Winker went back up to the top. It looks like he's going to be starting on the outside. Nathan Nixon, looks like, Chris, they might have scored that stage from the backstretch because I don't see Kevin Winker was behind these guys. He crossed the line first, so it looks like he's going to be outside of row number 1. Nathan Nixon's going to be inside, familiar sight. We've seen that all night. Daniel Dow in the 28 with Adam Holston to his outside. Those top 4 cars have been really fast. Those have kind of been the class of the field so far. Rafferty as well as Pollock and Barnes have been up there as well through much of the evening. We've got to keep an eye on those guys. Those cars looking pretty good. Man, I like that black and teal paint scheme. I think that's Bobby Rafferty there. That's a good looking scheme to see up front. Pace car is going to pull off. We're going to stage 2. Green flag is out. Nixon leads him down. Winker a little bit slower off the line. Nixon to the inside. He's clear. He's got Daniel Dow to the inside. Winker trying to hold his position up top. He's got some help from Adam Holston. Bobby Rafferty down there on the inside. Winker trying to pick his line. Dives down to the inside. Daniel Dow maybe seeing an opportunity here early to get back to the back bumper of Nathan Nixon. Wiggling just a little bit, trying to maybe play a little game with him. The 27 of Christian Barnes, first car up the track to see if he can make some momentum. A car taps the wall right behind them. That might have been Pollock. Barnes to the outside, looking to get by Rafferty here. Winker's going to pick up that draft. He's going to the top. He's going to try to get by the number 28 of Daniel Dow. And Chris, we've seen this kind of back and forth, multiple lines working throughout the evening. I don't know if I think there's a better line or not. I'm not sure where you want to be coming to the checkered flag. I think drivers right now probably just feeling it out, maybe testing some scenarios a little bit. Kevin Winker trying to get comfortable on the outside. We'll see how that run works. Christian Barnes not far behind him. Going back just a little bit, a couple bit of battles there. Back in 8th position, Chris, Alex Pollock on top of the 45 of Derek Jewett. That 45 looks a little bit like Kenny Wallace's old Stacker 2 paint scheme.
Yeah, it does, and that was always an iconic paint scheme that he ran. Wonder what's up with Stacker 2 these days. Is that still a thing?
I don't think the FDA
I don't think it was FDA approved.
I think it's on the shelves.
Yeah.
I think I occasionally might see it on the Dollar Tree, actually. I don't know if it's the same product or not. But, man, he's got some Stacker 2 in that gas tank right now because Derek Jewett is up to the 8th position. He is from Kansas City, Kansas. So, hey, that is Midwestville. That's where Kenny Wallace and the Wallaces are from. Maybe he does like Kenny Wallace a little bit. His favorite driver, though, is Tyler Reddick, which is why he's got that number 45
Yep.
on the side of that machine. Good choice, Derek. I like your thinking. I'm a Tyler Reddick fan as well. Right now, he's doing battle with the 8 and the 27 right in front of him, and boy, Christian Barnes gives the big old shove to the back of that number 42 of Kevin Winker as they go down into turn number 1. Bobby Rafferty, meanwhile, on the inside in that number 7. Now it's going to be Jewett having to deal with Alex Pollock to the outside. 82 of Jared Knopsider coming into the picture as well, with Aaron Shobe not too far behind him in that John Deere number 69. Right now, everyone's minding their P's and Q's. I just feel a little bit of maybe the calm before the storm, Chris. This first half of the race is probably going to be, everyone's going to be pretty nice, but I have a feeling the bump drafting and the pinching down is going to pick up after stage number 2 right now. And one of the things that I noticed, Chris, and I think I kind of alluded to this earlier, but that 20 of Daniel Dow, he tries to run the bottom, but I'm noticing him kind of wiggle up maybe half a lane every once in a while. Is that intentional, or how hard is it to hold that line down to the inside?
Well, it's really hard when you're not the lead car, and, he's not the lead car. He's getting all the dirty air. He's getting the wake off of that 40 car of Nathan Nixon right in front of him. So, that car is going to be the one that is most likely to wiggle up just because there's so much turbulent air behind that lead car. And so, he's got, a very important task at hand right here as he's pushing right here. He was trying to push the 40 of Nixon right there. But, it's very, very difficult to try to maintain that line when you got dirty air on the nose.
Absolutely. Right now, Nathan Nixon is the car in front of the 28 of Daniel Dow. Nathan Nixon out of, I believe that's Tehachapi, California. Been on iRacing for 5 years. Man, pretty good for just 5 years. I've been on here for nearly 20, and I'm still pretty terrible. So he's a fast learner. You know what the scary thing is, Chris? Nathan Nixon says his best track style is short tracks. He's leading here at Atlanta, and his best track style is short tracks. Look out the rest of the field when we head to some of those short tracks later on in the season, like Martinsville. We'll be looking out for Nathan Nixon. Right now, Kevin Winker's got a run to the outside in that number 42. We'll see if he can make that stick. Top 8 really have been all together most of the evening. Now top 15, top 16, all running in a pack. Looks like Landon Charlo ducks off down the backstretch, going to let a couple cars by. All is good with him. He gets it back up and gathered. A couple cars wiggle back there in front of Charlo. The 24, Chris, why don't you take a ride along with the 24? I saw him wiggling just a little bit back there in the 15th position.
Yeah.
We got a heart rate monitor on Brett Wren. See what that heart's doing right now.
Let's see what it's doing right here. Oh, he's real calm and cool, man. Look at this, 88 beats per minute. Let's ride on board with him. Actually, let's see if we can, we'll pull up the gyro with him right here and ride on board with him. You're right here in the passenger seat, and you can get a really good experience to see what he's experiencing, and he's looking ahead of that 87 car up ahead. That's Bradley Knopfsnyder in front of him, and yeah, he's looking really just holding a pretty well right here as Brett Wren. Yeah, there's no reason to be anything but calm, cool, and collected, even though you got, you know, guys all around him running 180 miles an hour.
No big deal, right? No big deal. And man, I will say though, we talked to Brett in pre-race, and we were kind of getting this thing dialed in. His resting heart rate is actually really low, somewhere around 65 to 70. I don't know if that's actually low, but it shows you there's some intensity going on. And boy, real big intensity right now as he does battle with Bradley Knopfsnyder here. Got right up to the back bumper of that red and black number 87. Knopfsnyder looks to be pretty loose in front of him. You can see the handling maybe deteriorating from some of these drivers here as the race continues on. Now on lap 45 of 114. Great view out of the front cockpit of that number 24 of Brett Wren.
Oh, he's going to tag the wall. He's in the wall, Ellis.
24. Oh, he's going to come down in front of the 77. Hold it up there, Brett. That heart rate is going to climb just a little bit. He takes a bit of a clip to the wall, but he gathers it back up. I think he's going to live to fight another day on that one.
He did a really nice job of not overcorrecting and not, you know, jerking that wheel back down to the left and, you know, right in front of traffic. So great job right there by Brett to not overreact it and cause a big mess there.
Hey, speaking of big messes, let's go back up to the front because it is getting wild. Nathan Nixon's leading the pack, but Daniel Dow and Bobby Rafferty are hounding the heck out of that back bumper with Kevin Winker and Adam Holston right behind him. Top 12, throw a blanket on him right now, separated by just 1 second. All the way back, actually to 12th at 7/10 of a second. Way less than a second. One car in the wall, that might be Pollock back there in the number 92. Rafferty, for the first time tonight, is the lead car on the outside in that Ancient World Gaming number 7. He's got Winker and Barnes behind him, but Chris, Nathan Nixon continues to lead the way. That's been the story of the night. That 40 car has been fast. He hasn't been afraid to get out front, even in front of last week's winner, Daniel Dow, and that number 28. Meanwhile, they're going to gather it back up here as they dash down into turn number 1.
And the 40
down
right
the
here.
backstretch.
Yeah, I was just going to say right here, he has a job at hand right here. And, you know, sometimes maybe you'll see these guys work both lanes, but looks like to me that Nathan Nixon is just committed to staying on the bottom. He's not interested in trying to work both sides of the street, which I think is probably a really wise move on lap 48 out of 114.
Yeah, I think that's what I would be telling my driver if I was up on the pit box, is crew chief as well. Let's get to the third and final stage. Get past the halfway point. We got about 12 laps until we hit the end of stage number 2, and then I think the gloves are probably going to come off. We've seen them come off just a little bit right now, but I think the intensity is definitely going to pick up. Chris, let's take a look back in number 8th position. That John Deere car, there's just something about a John Deere car. That yellow and green paint scheme, he's making it look good out there. Andrew Schoeb in that number 69 car. It's a great looking scheme.
Yeah, and he's number 69, so you know he likes to party as well. And so, yeah, he's looking pretty good out here in that John Deere Toyota. And, yeah, I mean,
I don't know how much he was partying last week after that photo finish for second place. I think he would have been partying a little bit harder had he been in victory lane, but it's still a second place. You get out of Daytona with a second place finish like Schoeb did. Man, I'm happy. I'm happy with a second place finish at Daytona. I know he probably wanted the win, but hey, second place right now, running in the 9th position, starting off the season with 2 top 10s on super speedways. That's hard to beat.
Yeah, absolutely. He's off to a really good start here tonight and trying to keep that thing straight as well here tonight. It was the one, yeah, that's that damaged one car on the bottom right there. I believe that's Benjamin Gerhardt. getting out of everybody's way.
Hey, if you are watching right now on YouTube, just about 10 laps left before we go under caution for stage number 2, or at least the end of stage 2. Let us know who you're rooting for in the chat. Chris, I think, one car that Christian Barnes sideways collects 82. A couple other cars involved off of turn number 2. We're going to be under caution for the 4th time this evening. That 27, Chris, just broke loose. Might have been some contact. We're going to have to go back to the scene of the crime to review, but it's going to take out a handful of cars here. The 82, the 92, the 47, the 77, all collected in this lap number 52 incident.
Yeah, we're following right here the 27. Oh, and Ellis, I think this was some net code right here. It looks like he gets pretty close to I think that's the 45 of Derek Jewett underneath him. I'm going to see if we can go to the chopper perspective of this to give everybody a sense of this. And Ellis, you might be able to explain this net code issue better than I can. But yeah, it looks like that's some pretty egregious net code right there, if that's what occurred.
Yeah, I feel like we haven't seen a car do that all night long. I just can't imagine that that's not netcode. And what netcode means, we'll see this probably over the course of the season. You can see that 45 sliding up the track. Each object has a collision box, I guess is the best way to refer to it. And it looks like that collision box, that communicates with all the other collision boxes online, might have been just a little bit off and shifted up the track. So it looked like that 45 was about a foot away, but in reality, the collision box was hitting Christian Barnes' 27 collision box. And that's what caused it. Just internet connection sometimes can be a little weird, and I think we saw that there. So appreciate everyone joining in right now. Under the 4th caution tonight, I'm going to see if cars come down pit road, Chris, but I feel like this might be a good opportunity to get our first trivia question in of the night. Remember, first 2 correct answers to the trivia question will get a point on the board. There are 3 questions of the night. Person in the chat with the most points at the end of the night is going to get this 1/64th scale Chase Elliott diecast. So let's hit that first question. It's going to be up at the bottom of the screen. Type your answers. Letters are fine in the chat. Your first question of the evening. How many times is the name Peachtree repeated in street names across the city of Atlanta? How many times is the name Peachtree repeated in street names around the city of Atlanta? Your options are 70 times, 33 times, 20 times, or 140 times. First 2 correct answers in the chat will get the point for this trivia question right now. Under caution, lap 54 of 114. We're going to see if we got some cars coming down pit road here. I suspect driver's going to hold off until they hit the end of stage 2. We'll let them roll around another lap for you to get your answers in. We'll keep that trivia question up on the board. We already got one answer. Ricky LaFleur in the chat says 20. Let's get some more answers in the chat. Let us know. You even take a guess if you don't know. How many times is the name Peachtree repeated in street names around Atlanta? Is it 70, 33, 20, or 140? Type in your answers into the chat. Let us know. Got Connor Lyons with answer number 70 there. Cars gridding up here. The choose rule has taken place. Nathan Nixon going to be on the inside. No surprise there. Bobby Rafferty to the outside. Adam Holston, Daniel Dow making up row 2. Have a good night, Connor. Appreciate you joining in. Got a couple other 70s in the chat. Connor and the No 79 have both said 70. Chris, you got any guesses?
Man, I know it's probably a lot if you've been to Atlanta, but yeah, I think 70 is actually a really good guess. I think I will go, not that I'm just trying to stick with the crowd, but yeah, I think that's actually a good guess. So I think I would go 70 as well.
All right, got another 10 seconds or so. If you want to get your answer in the chat, let us know what you think your answer to that question is. On the bottom, cars getting ready for the restart here, rolling through turns 3. We're going to have about another 5-lap shootout, Chris. Weirdly enough, these cautions have fallen basically within the same time frame of laps left in the stage. Hey, the answer to the question in the chat. How many times? 70 times. 70 wow. Peachtree streets across the city of Atlanta. Peachtree Avenue, Peachtree Boulevard, all those count. Right now, the green flag is the only thing that matters for these drivers. Nathan Nixon gets a great restart. Bobby Rafferty to the outside loses a little bit of ground. It's going to be Daniel Dow, followed by Kevin Winker, and it looks like Alex Pollock back there as well. Bobby Rafferty's kind of on an island there on the outside. So many cars chose the inside. Actually, that was, that's Bobby Rafferty. Derek Jewett gets by Rafferty for the 4th position. That's his highest position of the evening. Nose to tail are the top 3, looking to settle it between themselves, but Jewett in that yellow and orange 45 is going to have something to say about that. Bobby Rafferty trying to hold off Adam Holston. Single file, Kevin Winker's the first one to break to the outside. He's got the help of the 45 of Jewett. Rafferty goes down to the inside. Where will Holston go? He stays to the outside. Are we going to have 3 rows of 2x2 coming to the checkered flag here in just a couple of laps? Looks like Nathan Nixon is committed to that inside line along with Daniel Dow. It's been Winker kind of leading the charge up on the outside all evening long. He's got the help of Derek Jewett. Holston back there as well. Rafferty gets a big old push from the 45 off the corner. That's a huge run for Kevin Winker in the outside. Can he get by Daniel Dow? Chris, is there anything to be gained here by pinching a driver down? Is there any side force, any side draft to slow the inside driver down?
Maybe a little bit. Oh, that was a possibly push gone wrong right there on the top, but possibly a little bit. It's not as intense on these cars as it is on the next-gen Cup cars with the next-gen Super Speedway package. But yeah, you could definitely do that. And I think the biggest thing is you just want to try to narrow your racing line up. As we got a caution, Ellis.
Caution on the speedway. Going to see what happens here on lap number 59.
Oh, it's like the 88. I think he's 41/88. Looks like Joey Beam here. It's a nice paint scheme. Hate to see it turn around backwards like that.
Yeah, that is a shame. Joey from Forest City, North Carolina. Hey, he's been racing iRacing 5 months, so give the guy some credit. He's out here running some fast laps.
It's like he got
loose. Had a good run. Went a little awry there. Yeah, he got loose, and it just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, it looked like, right in front of the 77 of Zach White.
Yeah, Zach White, unfortunate victim of that. Don't think he has too much damage, and I don't think Joey has too much damage either. So I think they're both going to get away with this just fine, and Ellis, not sure if we're going to be able to get a green flag before the end of this stage now.
Yeah, I think this is going to mark the end of stage number 2. Probably see several drivers come down pit road here once it opens. And just following that up with that wreck we just had, we said that was... I just lost track of the driver we were just watching there on the replay. Sorry, Joey Beam. He finished 19th at Daytona, ran into some trouble there. So a couple weeks of tough luck for Joey, but he's going to be back next week, stronger than ever. I am sure we'll be looking for him next week during the next broadcast. Right now, looks like Nathan Nixon climbing back up in front of the pack, Daniel Dow. Those 2 drivers came down pit road, Chris. First and second looked like they came down pit road, but I'm not seeing where Kevin Winker, Derek Jewett, Bobby Rafferty, or Adam Holston came down pit road. Looks like we got some varying strategy here, potentially.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not sure what that's about.
Yeah, I'm not either. Well,
here they come down pit road again.
Well, I think that these are the leaders are coming to pit road this time by right here. What I'm not sure about, Ellis, is like when are the stage points awarded? And, this is something that, we'll get a little bit more familiar with. But, if you're a driver who's up there near the front of the field, do you want to pit now and possibly lose out on stage points? Or do you want to stay out and get your stage points and maybe pit later? I mean, I'm not really sure what I would do, and I'm not sure what maybe they'll throw add an extra lap or 2 here and let these guys pit, later. But I think that would mark the end of the stage there.
Yeah, and if we said the fuel tank holds about 60 laps or so, they could make it the rest of the race if they stopped here. So, right now they just took the choose rule. Looks like Kevin Winker's the first car to duck to the outside, and man, no one went with him. It's looking like everyone else chose the inside here. Someone might have an opportunity to get a big advantage. Well, I'm not seeing anyone climb the banking,
I don't think the lights are out on the pace car yet. So
you are right. Yeah, now I'm seeing him. He might have just jumped up there he's been up there all night. Why not ride up there under caution? As well, he ducks back behind the 28 of Daniel Dow. So, yeah, man, this is going to be interesting. I think we're going to have some fuel strategy really come into play.
I think they're going to come to pit road this time. I think that maybe this is what's happened. I think that there's a little confusion about who's supposed to be in the lead, though. So, yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there. But, yeah, I think that maybe they've extended this maybe a lap here so that way those drivers could, I mean, it's the same thing that you see in real-life NASCAR sometimes where they'll add some laps under caution and close the pit road. So I think it's probably a good move from the admins if that's what they decided to do.
Yeah, a race is a living, breathing thing, and we're seeing that here right now. Got to make some adjustments on the fly. You mentioned it. All drivers going to be coming down pit road this time. Lap 61 of 114 past the halfway mark in race number 2 for the Mystic Racing League Xfinity Series, Thursday night series. Leaders coming down pit road. They're going to take on a fresh set of tires, and, man, this should be able to get them to the end if we don't have any other cautions. This might be the lone pit stop of the night, meaning we're going to have some tight racing for the final 65 laps or so. And boy, this is or final 55 laps or so. Looks like Nathan Nixon led him down pit road. How much does pit exit position matter here, Chris? Are you really that upset if you lose a spot or two on pit road here at Atlanta?
It's not a huge deal, but I think that if you're Nathan Nixon, who has been, in pretty firm control of this race from the drop of the green flag, you want to get off pit road as quickly as you can, and that looks like what has occurred here. I'm looking at our times on pit road, Ellis, and it looks like to me right here that, yeah, he took 4 tires. I think everybody's taking 4 tires, maybe except for
Derek Jewett in the 45.
Who maybe took 2 tires or possible fuel only right there on that pit stop. We did have one driver stay out, and this is going to be great for us, Ellis, because we'll get a chance to look at that heart rate monitor. Brett Wren decided to stay out right there, so he's currently your race leader.
Yeah, he's got 30-lap old tires. Going to be interesting to see how he's able to hold off field. We saw him got into the wall a little bit earlier, but he's out a pretty wheel most of the night. I believe we're probably going to see the choose happen here. I think the leaders have had an opportunity to pit. Going to see what happens. Yeah, you mentioned Brett Wren wearing that heart rate monitor for us. We'll try to bring you a little bit of new technology this season. But Brett Wren from Anderson, Indiana, dude says he's only been sim racing 2 months. I don't know if I believe that or not.
That's
I
impressive.
don't know if I believe that at all. It's very impressive. He says he's just started not too long ago. So he's got 4 kids. Hopefully they're not bothering him during the race right now because daddy's leading the way here.
Hey, they're watching the broadcast,
24.
man.
Yeah, hopefully rooting him on if they're watching. Hey, Brett Wren's children. Hopefully your dad comes away with a good finish tonight and does you proud here on this restart to get us underway for stage number 3. The choose rule has happened. And Chris, no surprise, Kevin Winker jumped up at the top. Bobby Rafferty and Halston all took the outside. I'm kind of intrigued that we've seen the drivers who's comfortable where at this point, because that's where they've been going, not only under green flag racing, but on that choose rule. The guys who are comfortable up top have constantly reverted back up to the top under these cautions, getting ready for the restart down the back stretch. And this is it, Chris. Intensity is going to wind up here because this race is past the halfway point. Just about 51 laps left, and they're going to go by fast, clocking 30-second lap times. If we don't have a caution, this thing is under 30 minutes left. Driver's going to have to get every ounce out of that car. Brett Wren, we're watching that heart rate on the top side of the screen. Pace car getting ready to pull off. Wren's going to have to be careful on those old tires not to spin them. I'm going to be looking at that 42, how much of a run he gets on this restart. But Wren's going to hit that pedal. He wiggles a little bit, but hell of a restart for the number 24 of Wren on older tires than the rest of the field. It's going to open the door for Derek Jewett on the inside. He's got 2 tires, so keep in mind, first 2 cars on older tires, but Chris, Nathan Nixon did not waste any time. He climbs that banking down through turns 1 and 2, that black and green car on the inside. He's lined up 3rd in line with the 28 of Daniel Dow right behind him. But hey, as soon as I say that, Kevin Winker's fighting back on the outside. Him and Rafferty have been working together really well tonight. Really well. Although Brett Wren continues to lead the race, he's going to continue to lead this lap. He's got some help from Derek Jewett. I thought Jewett might look to the inside, but thinks better of it. 2 by 2 by 2 by 2. Top 8 side by side. Top 7, actually. One of the things I'm noticing, that 42 loses. Oh, Rafferty almost has contact with the 40 of Nathan Nixon, came down the track, but both drivers straighten out those wheels. We're going to avoid calamity here on lap 65. One car really high, Adam Holston in that number 8, Chris. I'm impressed with Brett Wren in that number 24. Hell of a drive right now on older tires.
Yeah, he's holding a pretty wheel right here. He's kind of leaving a little bit of a lane open right there through the quad oval. The 45 right there of Derek Jewett acted like he wanted to look down there, but yeah, he's doing a really nice job. Oh, Jewett's loose.
Sideways off the corner. Save of the race so far. Jewett gathers it back up. Can he get it back onto the track with no problem? One car in the wall. The 82 of Jared Knopsider gets it gathered back up. Action all over the track right now for these Mystic Racing League drivers. Bobby Rafferty to the outside. Massive run. The 24 of Wren spins. Can he keep it on the apron? Caution is out. Can drivers avoid the 24? Almost collisions all over the place, but wow.
Great job by everybody.
Great job by everybody involved. 24 held on those brakes, but he came off the back bumper of Nathan Nixon, the 40. I'm not sure if what happened there. We're going to have to return to the scene of the crime, see if we can't pick up what exactly happened to the 24 who'd been leading that race before this most recent caution.
Yeah, great job by Brett right there to hold those brakes until the whole field had passed by. Real heads-up move by him, and very heads-up move by all the drivers right there. Yeah, that looks like the 40 right there of Nathan Nixon right behind him. We'll go on board with Nathan right here, right on board his roof cam. Yeah, he kind of, that's just two different approaches to the front stretch right there. He does get a fender inside of him, and you can't cross that red and white line to gain, to gain a position. And, yeah, it looks like the 24 was just sliding on down right there.
Yeah, and with older tire, we mentioned it all night, or just a couple laps ago, Chris. You mentioned him kind of leaving that lane, that slot open through the dog leg, and you kind of saw it maybe cause a little bit of problems for him there.
Yeah, and Ellis, that's just speedway racing. I mean, that's just sometimes that's going to happen, and but the good news is everybody got through that pretty clean.
Pretty clean indeed. I don't think we're going to see many pit stops here. It's going to give us an opportunity to hit up trivia question number 2. And to recap, first question, the 2 correct answers on the board first were the No 79 and Connor Lyons, tied at 1 point apiece, Chris. Let's hit up that second trivia question. And that is, what major event in 1996 brought international attention to Atlanta? What major event in 1996 brought international attention to the city of Atlanta? Was it A, the Super Bowl, B, World's Fair, 3, the Summer Olympics, or D, the World Expo? Which one of those answers is correct? What major event in 1996 brought international attention to Atlanta? Type your best guess in the chat right now. Doesn't hurt to guess. First 2 correct answers going to get a point on the trivia board. 3 questions tonight. The driver with the most correct, or the fan with the most correct answers, is going to get a free Chase Elliott diecast. Chris, what's up?
We're really showing our age with the fact that we know the answer to this right away, aren't we?
I don't know. This isn't an easy question by any means, but yeah, I do know. I'm from Atlanta, too, or live in Atlanta right now, so I definitely know the answer. We're going to see if we can't get some correct answers in the chat. What major event in 1996 brought international attention to Atlanta? Let us know your best answer. Type a letter. Even guess. It doesn't matter. You don't have to be a trivia expert here or an expert in Atlanta, but we're trying to help people learn. Both Chris and I are teachers. We want folks to learn a little bit each race. So we got the No 79 in with the chat. We got Ricky LaFleur in with the chat with an answer. You got Caleb Hunt in the chat with an answer. Get those chat answers in right now. You don't know who's correct and who's not. And we have taken the choose rule. The lights are off on the pace car. We're going to give away the answer here in just a moment when these drivers get close to the front stretch, right before we come back under green for the final 44 laps of this race. Got lots of answers in the chat. Hey, let us know who you're rooting for right now. Top 5 as they run. Bobby Rafferty's first, Kevin Winker second, Alex Pollock third, Adam Holston, that 8 is fourth, Andrew Show back up to the 5th position in that number 69. You have to go back all the way to 6th to find, actually 5th to find Daniel Dow, who's been up front most of the night, Chris. But I'm looking, looks like we might have got Nathan Nixon, Chris. Big update here. Nathan Nixon, black flag EOL for being the cause of that last caution. That is a major story. That 40 has led most of the evening. He's got his work cut out for him if he's going to get back up to the front. Hey, speaking of hard work, the answer to that question, what event in 1996 brought major attention to Atlanta? It's the Summer Olympics. See, your 2 first correct answers are the No and Ricky LaFleur. The No and Ricky LaFleur. Getting ready for the restart here. It's going to be Winker and Rafferty on your front row. Holston and Pollock in 3rd and 4th. Winker gets the jump on the restart. Bobby Rafferty, though, holding on just a little bit on the outside. Can Pollock get to the back bumper to give Rafferty a little bit of a push out front? Holston gets some help from 28 of Daniel Dow. That 5-car breakaway leads the way right now down into turn 2. 71 laps of 114 in the books. We are in stage 3 of race number 2. For the Mystic Racing League Xfinity Series. Daniel Dow in 5th, trying to chase down a 2nd win in a row to start off the season, but there are 27 other drivers who are going to have something to say about that tonight. Winker leads the way. Holston, his highest position of the evening after starting 2nd, Chris. First battle really is going to be 3rd position, and for the first time, I believe, is that Jared Knopsider in that number, or sorry, the 73 of Adam Emery.
Yeah.
Is up to 4th position. That's the highest we've seen him after dropping back a little bit. He started 6th. We haven't seen him up the front in just a little while, but that 73 is back up after climbing through the running order the last several laps in that purple car. I'm going to have to not get him confused with Adam Holston in that 8, but hey, he's got a great run going in that 73. Adam Emery, good job for that driver out of, I'm trying to pull my information up here, that driver. I don't actually have that information for him. So we'll find out next week where Adam Emery is from. But that outside line, Chris, it's developing. I'm surprised Winker's dropped down to the inside. I don't know if his car's handling differently, but we haven't seen him. Pollock with a little bit of a shuffle there on the outside. But yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with the 42. One car on the wall, Rafferty.
Yeah, I think it's just because the 42 of Winker is in firm control right here, and you know, with as far back as that top lane is, I think that's, you know, I think that is the place to be where he is right now. You know, as long as they're all lined up with you. But, yeah, we'll have to wait and see, you know, if that lane does get more organized. We'll have to see if Winker decides to jump up there in front of them maybe, or if he decides just to stay on the bottom like he is right now.
Oh, the 73 really loose. Emery almost 3 wide. Will Jewett take him 3 wide? Jewett showing some discretion much of the evening, Chris.
Yeah,
car coming back into the picture. The number 10, that black and green, or the gray and green car, the number 10 of Joshua Gillen. I know the No 79's rooting on Joshua Gillen in the chat right now. That's a good looking paint scheme. That's the highest he's been all night, Chris. He started 27th, almost tail end of the field. Gillen, the 69 into the wall. He's into the 47. Wow, the 21 almost got taken out. One car sideways.
Man,
we are
Nixon
under
is
caution.
Involved. Well, the dominant cars tonight is involved in this, Ellis. Andrew Shobe involved, like you said. I think the 47 as well. David Moyer also involved. We're going to go back to see right there. So I think the 69 was the first one involved.
Yeah, that did start with Andrew Shobe, who'd had a good run going most of the evening. Yeah, let's take a look at what happened.
Yeah, we're a little bit, we missed it by a little bit right there. So, yeah, we'll watch this one from overhead as well. That gives us the best perspective. It's like the 45 underneath him right here. That is Derek Jewett. Yeah, he's up the track a little bit. Yeah, and there's some net code involved in that one as well. They might have made contact anyway, though. But, yeah, oh, man, the 70 just barely getting through there. Yeah, the 47 right there, that's some unfortunate contact with him. Nathan Nixon, nowhere to go. He tried to go to the bottom to get around it. And unfortunately for him, I don't think he has used a fast repair tonight, Ellis. So I think that might be a benefit for him.
Fine. Yeah, and he was back in the field, so really this wreck might be a wash for the 40 in terms of he was already back there, so he's not going to lose any more positions really that he had lost. He's going to get some fresh tires. He's going to get, looks like he's creeping back. 69 also trying to avoid taking the toe, but yeah, I think he's going to be fine. I think that 40 of Nathan Nixon is going to be all right.
It's the unfortunate reality of getting an EOL, though.
All right.
Yeah, that maybe wouldn't have happened to him otherwise.
Yeah, he would have been up front, and yeah, we mentioned the caution right before that. He had tagged the bumper of Brett Wren in the 24, and the rest was history there. And you saw track position does matter. So I want to go back to what I said earlier, because I asked you, how much does it matter if you lose a couple spots on pit road? Well, if you lose a couple, you might be fine, but if you lose a lot, we saw that really impact Nathan Nixon there, who had been the dominant car, as you mentioned, of the evening. A couple cars going around. Looks like the one getting a lap back here. But yeah, unfortunate incident. It's going to put us under caution for the 6th time, I believe. I'm not sure if we're counting stage cautions or not. I think it's actually the 5th time. But lap 77 of 114, about 37 laps left in this thing. Hey, if you're joining us live on YouTube, we appreciate you. This is our first broadcast for this series, and we're still kind of dialing in some of the things, getting some of the kinks worked out. You notice our ticker's having some, it's on the struggle bus down there on the bottom, 11 through 20. We're going to have that fixed next week. I'll go ahead and do the running order just so you know where your driver's running. It's top 10. You can see those. We'll start at 11th. Bradley Knopsider running 11th. Joey Beam 12th. Brett Renz climbed his way back up to 13th. Zach White 14th. Nathan Nixon 15th. Aaron Espy 16th. David Wallace 17th. Benjamin Gerhardt in 18th. Landon Charlo in 19th. Reggie Kime in 20th, David Moyer 21st, Christian Barnes 22nd, Andrew Shobe 23rd, and Robert McKay is 24th, Chris. Getting ready for the restart. No surprise, Rafferty's jumped up to the top, but I am a little surprised that Kevin Winker chose that inside this time. He's been up top most of the evening in that number 42, seeing a new look for that number 42 this week, this restart. He's going to be on the inside. I'm curious to see how that might impact how he gets going and how he approaches this final part of the race. We've seen the 42 really be the control car for the last little while since our I can't remember the name of the car, the number of the car, just got involved, the 40. Drawing a blank on the name. I know Nathan it's our Nixon. First race. We'll make sure we get those names. Nathan Nixon, yeah. Pace car is pulling off. It's going to be Winker and Bobby Rafferty here on the front row. Rafferty on the outside in that number 7. He's got Alex Pollock in the 92 behind him. Good start for Winker on the inside. He gets away cleanly. Bobby Rafferty in the 7 is second. 8 is Adam Holston. Alex Pollock back there in the 92 and 4th. And then Derek Jewett in the 45 on the inside of that yellow and orange car. And boy, Holston has given the 42 a handful here on the back bumper. He is pushing the 42 down the back straightaway. And the gloves are coming off here. We've talked about this. This is the final stage. Only 34 laps left in the race, Chris. There's no time to really give. There's no space to give here. Driver's going to be looking for every single ounce they can find on the track. Right now, that inside line is rolling pretty good. Winker's been the dominant car now for a little while. Boy, he looks like a cool guy in that hat and sunglasses. He's just chilling up there right now, up at the front, Chris, and doing a good job, making it look easy. We haven't seen that 42 really put a foot wrong all night long, and we know he's a good super speedway racer. We've seen him in races before, and this is no surprise to see that 42 up front right now in that black and is that yellow or maybe lime green?
I think it's green. Yeah, looks green to me.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, he's looking good up there, and
either way,
I think he feels like Ellis that he can control the race from the bottom lane maybe a little bit better than the top. I think you saw what Nathan Nixon did earlier, and I think he's trying to replicate that right now at this stage of the race.
Yeah, he's doing a hell of a job, and I think there's something to that bottom line. We saw Nixon pull it off. Now we're seeing Winker. How aggressive? Let's just, hypothetical situation. Adam Holston is on that inside line, right behind Winker, coming off a 4 or maybe last lap. Is there anything Holston can do? We see a wiggle from the 10 back there. Everyone checks up behind him. Is there anything Holston can do to get dislodge that inside car without just flat out wrecking it?
It's really difficult. I mean, there's a little bit of room. I mean, we got the 92.
Pollock collects Jewett. Are they going to hold on to it? All cars gather it back up.
The 10 is
One car, the
sideways.
10 across the nose of the 92. We're going to be under caution lap 82, and boy, I thought they had saved it there.
They almost did.
Oh, man, they almost had that. Yeah, it looks like 10 came across the nose, the 92, the 88's involved, Chris. The 40 is involved. Nathan Nixon, he's already used his fast repair. That might be the end of the night for the number 40, who had been the dominant car the first half of the race.
Yeah.
Several other cars involved here as well. Christian Barnes, one of them.
Yeah, Nellis, we're seeing several cars. He's not the first one we've seen right here, the 92 of Alex Pollock. We're seeing these cars get sideways on corner entry, especially into turn 3. The handling's an issue tonight. This isn't like Daytona and Talladega. Just because it looks like a speedway out there, handling is a little bit more important here than it is at Daytona and Talladega. So, we're seeing a lot of drivers have a hard time holding on to it, especially on entry to turn 3, it seems like.
Yeah, Chris, you mentioned this isn't your daddy's super speedway race, and we've seen that throughout the night. Several cars collected in that incident. That's going to put us under caution for the 6th time tonight. Lap 84, just 30 laps left in this race. Couple questions in the chat. Connor Line says, is there overtime? Connor, the good news is there's unlimited overtime. I think iRacing limits it to like 15 or 17. Hopefully we don't need that many, but yeah, there are green-white checkers in this series. Tower Operator, thanks for the kind comments, man. Everyone else, great race so far. Mystic Racing League said Winker led 71 laps last night in the truck race. He's got some momentum and some wind behind those sails headed into this Xfinity race tonight, and it's showing for sure. Folks, if you've joined in, if you're enjoying what you're seeing, we're only getting started. 31 races left this season, and we're going to bring you live racing action each one of those weeks. Make sure you don't miss a lap. Go ahead and click that subscribe button if you like what you're seeing right now. Also hit that like button. Check that bell as well to get notifications of when we do go live so you don't miss a minute of the action. Under caution for the 6th time tonight, lap 84 of 114, just 29 to go at this point. Chris, I think maybe, I don't know if we're going to get another caution. I'm willing to roll the dice. I think we hold off one more caution for the next trivia question, our final trivia question of the night. Right now, the leaderboard is No 79 with 2 points. Connor Lyons has 1 point, and Ricky LaFleur also has a point. So LaFleur and Lyons aren't out of it right now, but No 79 is leading the way with just one trivia question left. Drivers working their way down the front straightaway right now. Kevin Winker is leading the way on the track. Chris, if you're looking at these drivers right now, who do you think is the sleeper here? Who do you think's got the best shot, I should say, of winning this race based on everything you've seen tonight?
The best shot of winning, I think it's the guy with all the momentum and the guy who's in control of the race right now, and that's Kevin Winker. And I'm saying that also because I've seen him on super speedways before, and I know how good he is at it. I think that guy's going to be tough to beat. But I look up there and I see a guy like Bobby Rafferty right there. I like what I saw right there, his decision to take the top lane here. Not a lot of guys are, usually we have to go a few cars back before people start taking the top. I'd like to see that guy that wants to jump out there and, and wants to try to, lead that line and sort of be the aggressor. So I'm going to be watching him on this restart here and seeing maybe if he can lead that top lane, because it seems like the top lane's had a little bit more trouble on restarts here lately.
Yeah, 9th place finish last week at Daytona for Bobby Rafferty, working that outside right now. Kevin Winker really fast as well. Had a great truck race last night at Atlanta. Looking to maybe have another great race tonight in the Xfinity cars. They've chosen their line coming to the restart here. Pace car getting ready to pull off. It's going to be Winker on the inside, Rafferty on the outside. Stephen McComas, Chris, up to 3rd place in that number 70. We've seen him not this far up most of the evening, so we'll see what that 70's got under the hood tonight and behind that wheel. Bobby Rafferty gets away cleanly. Kevin Winker's going to lead the way. Holston maybe going underneath Rafferty here in that 8 car. He's got Derek Jewett right behind him, and then they've got Daniel Dow, last week's Daytona winner, also sliding underneath the 70 of Stephen McComas into the top 6 for the first time tonight is McComas in that black, red, white, and blue car, and they are all over each other, Chris. A pack of 6. It looks like Adam Emery might want to catch up and have something to say about who's going to win this race. He's got David Wallace right behind him, Chris. Stephen McComas up 19 positions on the evening in that number 70, that second car up top right now. Great run going. That's some big passes going on from McComas.
Yeah, and that's a great recovery for him. We saw him have some trouble earlier in this race, and I'm pretty sure he used a fast repair, so a great recovery for him to move all the way up here into the 6th spot.
Yeah, great recovery. We've seen a couple guys really move their way through the field. I'm also looking at Joshua Gillen, Chris. He had some trouble involved in that last caution. He's back up to the 9th position. So I know no 79's rooting on McGillen. He's back in contention here. There goes Daniel Dow to the top. First car we see in line there in that white and red number 28. Maybe trying to find a little bit of speed out there, sensing that Kevin Winker's just got that bottom line all clogged up, and he's not going anywhere. He's going to hold that line as long as he can, and it seems to be the strongest line of the night unless you can get to the right side of that leader. That inside line really feels like the place to be. It's Winker, Holston, Jewett, and Dow. That's your top 4. Dow's got a handful of Bobby Rafferty right behind him. Meanwhile, Adam Emery in that purple number 78 has slipped into the picture. Is Daniel Dow going to close the door on him? There goes the 78 underneath the white line. Doesn't look like he's going to make a pass by doing that, but Stephen McComas and Joshua Gillen also coming back into the picture here as well. David Wallace in the 08 into the top 8 for the first time this evening. That top line, Chris, they're trying. I can just see the intensity behind the windshield. That 28 of Daniel Dow chasing a win number 2 this season in the first 2 races. He's going to have to be careful when he makes that move. When do you think you have to make the move? Is it got to be off of turn 4 on that final lap in just about 25 laps from now?
Yeah, I think it just depends on your positioning. I mean, if you're Daniel Dow right here, I think it's going to take you several laps to maybe be able to, bring that outside lane up. If you are somebody like Adam Holston right behind Kevin Winker, I think you can wait, because I think you can wait to the last minute to sort of utilize that momentum. But we're seeing the top lane right here, Ellis. They're more organized than they have been in several. Oh, it's Winker's a little bit loose.
Saw it.
Man, we almost had a huge collision right there. Everybody did a great job. We saw Dow sideways, Rafferty sideways, but everybody did a great job, and that has cost the 42 of Winker.
Yeah, so I was going to say, did Winker see the momentum, or was he truly loose? Yeah, he got loose maybe.
I think he saw the momentum, tried to move up, and when he did, I think that, they got a little bit loose. These things aren't glued to the track. Oh,
Adam Emery slides up the track, just bubbled up off that apron for a moment. I think he raised the heart rate of the 42 of Kevin Winker just a little bit. Huge run for that 42 off turn 2, Chris. That looked like a power move there to the outside. Winker not going away. He's not on that inside line like he wanted. But, Chris, is this where running the outside pays off? He ran it so much earlier in the race. He knows what it feels like. Looks like Derek Jewett's going to go up there with him, senses that momentum. That practice maybe is going to pay off later in the race with just about 21 laps left here from Atlanta. It was a thrilling photo finish, 9 thousandths of a second last week at Daytona. I think we're in store for something similar here. The 42 of Winker almost slides into Holston. They avoid a massive crash that would have taken out the top 8 or 9 cars. My goodness, I think we all held our breath there. Go ahead, take a break, collect your breath after that one, folks.
Yeah, that was a great save by everybody right there. And yeah, I think that it looked like the 42 wanted to follow the lead car down right there and just wasn't quite clear. But luckily, everybody did a great job right there to collect it. And here we are, back to Kevin Winker leading that inside lane again. 3 wide behind them, though.
Ooh, boy, the 28 of Daniel Dow, last week's winner, thought about taking it 3 wide. That's going to squeeze Jewett up towards the wall. Rafferty is going to duck under him tonight, take advantage of him. Boy, Joshua Gillen up to 4th, going for 3rd position. He is peaking when it matters here, Chris, after starting in the 27th position. Joshua Gillen up to 3rd, biggest mover of the night. Winker loose off 2. Holston lifts the throttle. They both hold on to it, and boy, Chris, that 42 gets a shove down to the apron. Can he hold on to it? Keep it down, Adam Emery, hold on to it. They all gather it back up, and boy, Chris, we about had caution number 7 there.
Wow.
Brett Rinn's heart rate's 90. I think mine's probably 120 right now at least.
Yeah, that was insane. I thought that was definitely going to be a huge crash. Everybody did an awesome job, though. What this has done, Ellis, though, this has really separated the pack out right here. We've really spread ourselves out right here, and so...
Oh, Rafferty and Gillis, heavy contact.
Yeah, way below the yellow line or the red and white line right there is that 10 of Gillen, but he saves it right there. And yeah, we got some big gaps between the field right now, and you know this kind of has really changed the complexion of this race.
This definitely changed the complexion of the race. I think if I'm in the top 6 right now, which is this first breakaway pack, I'm kind of content for the next few laps just to ride.
Yeah.
I'm curious where these guys really torch it up and start going too wide and trying to make some movement on the outside. I feel like Gillen's been one who's making moves all night. I wouldn't be surprised if he was the first guy we saw kind of try to maybe change it up just a little bit.
Yeah, I think that you're right. I think that I would just ride in line right here, you know, if I could. Looks like the 70 right here in McComas. He's looking high right here, but it looks like everybody's thinking the same thing. What we can do here at Slingshot Racing Media is we have a battle forecast right here. We're going to go back to 7th place right here.
Winker.
Yeah, the Race Insights powered by Pierce Graphics. Look right here, Kevin Winker. It's going to update when we get to the line right here, but he was half a second quicker that last lap.
Oh, boy.
And he's really gaining on them right here. Yeah, we don't even need the Race Insights. We can see it with our own eyes how fast he's gaining on them.
He's been the dominant car all night long. He almost had his race ended about 3 laps ago. He's caught right back up. He's going under McComas. Winker to the outside. Can he hold on to it? He's going to go by Jewett. He's trying to get behind Rafferty. The 42 has the 7 slide up in front of him and has that lane blocked. That is going to be a roadblock. He's going to try to slide down in front of Benjamin Gerhardt, who's climbed his way back into the top 10 for the first time tonight after being involved in an early race incident. Winker is boxed in right now, Chris. He's behind Jewett. He's got Rafferty up top. How comfortable is he in that inside line? Can he afford to wait any more laps, or has he got to go to the front right now?
I think that you got to be moving forward here with 14 laps to go. I don't think that you can be content to ride where he's at right here. I think that you got to be sort of like using that momentum. It's not like you know real life NASCAR racing where you can, you know, a lot of things can happen very quickly. You kind of got to build up the momentum, especially in these Xfinity cars.
And they have definitely built the momentum. Gillen gets a little bit of a bump from Rafferty on the outside. It's Jewett in that orange and white number 45 to the inside, 3rd in line. Winker, the car we've been watching, is that 4th car on the inside, currently in the 6th position. He might try to take it 3 wide. The 78 gets loose up top. Can he hold on to it? The 1 and the 69 collide. We're still under green flag conditions after a couple near misses. That's going to really set Stephen McComas back in that 70. Not going to be happy about that. But it leaves Gillis on the outside, exactly where I thought he might go a little bit earlier. He's got Rafferty, who's been up top all night long. Gillis trying to hold tight to the outside of that number 28 of Daniel Dow. They're all looking in front of him at Adam Holston right now in that purple and blue number 8. Chris, just 12 laps to go when they cross the line. I have no idea what's going to happen here. If you're just tuning in, it's been a wild race. Last week's Daytona race, 9 thousandths of a second photo finish. It could be even closer here in just about 12 laps. You couldn't have stuck a sheet of paper between that second row of Rafferty and Daniel Dow. Boy, I'm glad I'm not out here. That's all I can say right now. Gillis to the lead, or Gillen to the lead in that number 10. I know the no 79's rooting on Gillen in that 10. The 8 of Adam Holston going to do his best to hold on to it, Chris. This is the most momentum we've really seen that outside line get all night long. The inside has been the place to be. If you can clog up that inside line, the outside can't do anything about it. You can see the speed that 8's carrying through the corner on entry through the midway point. The 10's getting a run off on that outside, but just not enough of a run. I'm not sure where I want to be. Right now, Holston's definitely got the best seat in the house. He's looking out his rear view mirror and sees 2 cars side by side behind him. But as soon as I say that, the 10 jumps up top. He's got Rafferty right behind him. Rafferty's been glued to the back bumper of that number 10 for the last 5 laps or so. Rafferty in that black, silver, and blue Ancient World Gaming car. Lots of contact here down the back straightaway.
Gillen really loose right there. You can see how free these cars are on entry to turn 1 and turn 3. That car is loose again right here. Rafferty's doing everything he can to push Gillen out in front, but you mentioned it, Ellis. The organization on the bottom is just hard to overcome.
Yeah, that 10 got a big, looks like the number 73 of Adam Emery loose off the wall. He gathers it back up back there. That's around the 8th position actually. 7 cars, Chris, actually 8 cars that could, in theory, win this race right now. The 10 and the 7 up top, 1 car. That's the 1 of Benjamin Gerhardt. He's going to corral it back. Going to come down in front of a couple cars. Can they stay out of the way? After running in the 6th position, the 1 of Benjamin Gerhardt ducks back to the 12th position, or so actually the 10th position. Right now, Chris, 8 cars in that lead pack. We thought it was going to be calm after that field broke apart, but they've caught each other. And with just about 7 laps to go at the line, you think we're going to get another caution before this thing's over?
I would put money on it. I would be very shocked if we don't. Not that these guys aren't doing a good job, they are, but you know how the ends of these things get right here, Ellis. Is Kevin Winker acted like he wanted to move up high right there behind the 10 of Joshua Gillen, but he just couldn't make it up there before the hole closed, and so he's still stuck on the bottom here, 4th car on the inside.
Yeah, and he's got to be losing his patience. How much of those tires he has to have used up quite a bit just trying to catch the field back after kind of losing a lot of time on that near spin. He's definitely put some wear on those tires. I'm not sure how it compares to the 6 cars in front of him, but you mentioned it. He's boxed in right now, nowhere to go. He pushes Rafferty up the track just a little bit. He's going to allow him to clear. You think the 42 might jump up, or is he going to wait for the opportunity to clear the 10 of Gillen, who's fallen off the past couple of laps? The momentum has coalesced behind the inside line right now. Only 1 car to the outside. I take that back. Derek Jewett moves up in front of the 45. The 45 gets turned. Can he hold on to it? 1 car, 2 car, Rafferty involved. That was also David Moyer, I believe, in the 47. A couple of cars collected there. It's going to put us under caution, and this is going to set up overtime. Green-white checker finish on the way, and boy, that was a hard head-on hit to the wall right there, Chris, for the number 45. We also mentioned David Wallace, after a great run was going for that 08, also involved in that. Let's take a look at what happened.
Yeah, he slid up right there in front of the 10, and it was like some contact from behind by the 10 into the 45. That's just getting down to the end of this race right here, and you just want to get every single position that you can possibly get. I was wondering if the 45 slid up in front of him because he wanted to be on the top, or if maybe he kind of like lost the hand. Hit the apron a little bit right there into turn 3. So I'm not sure if that was a decision that he really wanted to make, but it's kind of like where he just wound up. But yeah, it looks like some contact from behind by Gillen into the back of Derek Jewett, and man, he goes for a wild ride, as you're seeing right here down the front stretch.
A wild ride indeed. A couple cars taken out with that lap number 110 caution. 110 of 114, we are almost there. Almost to the finish line of race number 2 of the Mystic Racing League Xfinity season. 33 race season. About to be 2 out of the way, but we don't know who's going to win this one. Daniel Dow won last week. He's currently in 2nd, Chris, but I feel like the guy who's the biggest fan of that caution, Kevin Winker, who's going to be in 3rd, and he's going to have his choice of where he lines up, and he's going to be on that 2nd row no matter what. He might be on the 1st row. If you're Kevin Winker, you going up top if it's available, 1st car on the top?
I want to take whatever is going to put me the furthest forward up in the field. If that's staying on the bottom because the guys in front of me take the top, that's what I'm going to do. At this point, you got to decide. You just got to start like wherever's going to put you in the highest row, basically, at this point, I think.
Yeah, this is it. There's going to be 2 laps remaining. Green, white checker. Chris, speaking of just a couple laps remaining, last trivia question. of the night. Trivia question number 3. We're going to put it up at the bottom. Let us know what you think the answer is in the chat. Take your best guesses. Even if you don't know it, type a letter. You might be right. You never know. First 2 correct answers in the chat are going to get trivia points for tonight. Right now, the No 79 is leading with 2 trivia points. Here's your question. What was the original name of the city of Atlanta before it was renamed in 1847? We chose the hardest one for last. Marthasville, choice A. B, Terminus. C, Fort Peachtree. Or D, Atlantica. 4 choices there. What was the original name of the city of Atlanta before it was renamed to Atlanta in 1847? First choice, or first 2 correct answers in the chat. Going to get the trivia points for this, Chris.
And Ellis,
yeah, big swing here.
Yeah, and while you were reading that, Ellis, there was an EOL handed out, looks like to the number 10 of Joshua Gillen for that crash.
Yeah, Gillen fans in the chat not going to be happy about that. But Chris, Reggie Kime, where the heck did this guy come from on that outside? Took advantage of the top 4 taking the inside. That 9, after starting in the 9th position, or the 22nd position, I should say, up 20 spots on the night. We're getting ready for a green-white checkered finish here. Reggie Kime is going to be second, Chris. This is going to be wild. We haven't seen that 9 all night. How much of a role does that play in how these drivers race him? He hasn't been up here all night.
He hasn't, and I'm not sure because I don't know. I don't think we really had eyes on him too much tonight. So maybe these guys are a little bit more familiar with him than we are.
Possibly so. Hey, correct answer to that question was Marthasville or Terminus. A or B are both technically true. We'll talk more about trivia in a minute. Right now, we got to get down to it. Final restart of the night. Adam Holston on the inside. Reggie Kime does not get going. It's going to really severely hamper that outside line. The 47 of David Moy are going to be hurt by that as well. Winker's down to 3rd, down to the inside. He's been the strongest car all night long. Holston getting away quickly from Daniel Dow. He's trying to get as much of a gap on Kevin Winker as possible. They're going down the back straightaway for the penultimate time, potentially. Daniel Dow to the back bumper of the Holston number 8. Can Dow do anything, or Kevin Winker play spoiler here and come from 10 positions behind? 1 lap left. White flag is out. It's the Whiplash Simcams white flag. We're going to have a winner 30 seconds from now. The number 8 of Holston leads. The 28 of Dow second. Winker's third. Who's going to make the first move as they climb the banking out of turn number 2? There goes Dow to the outside, chasing a second consecutive win. Winker's on the outside with him. Holston's all alone. Does Winker take it up top? He's going to send it full speed into turn number 4. It's going to be Daniel Dow who's going to potentially cross the line first for the second time in a row. Big spin. Dow's your winner 2 weeks in a row. 8, Holston second. Kevin Winker is going to bring it home third. Woo! Chris, someone need a second after that one.
Well, yeah, what a finish right here. And you mentioned it, Ellis. Daniel Dow backing it up, bringing home the checkered flag tonight. Great performance out of him, and great job by all these drivers here tonight. Wait until the very end right here. And I don't think Daniel Dow has lifted it all on the cool down lap right here. I think he has decided to keep on going just to make sure, just to be safe.
Boy, that was a wild one. We're going to hear from those drivers momentarily. Before we get to those post-race interviews, I want to congratulate the No 79 on winning trivia tonight. We're going to send you that free Chase Elliott Diecast. So just put our email in the chat. Send us an email at ssracingleagues@gmail.com. Let us know your address. We'll send that to you absolutely free. Connor, we got another one coming to you as well. Not sure what happened. Might have gotten lost in the mail, but it will be on its way when we send it out, when they send the other one out to the No 79. Boy, that 28. It's Victory Lane's becoming a familiar place for Daniel Dow after finishing first 2 weeks in a row. And Chris, you saw it. Once there was momentum, on the outside, you just really couldn't do anything about it. Adam Holston was all alone there and had no help on the inside. I'm not surprised that the outside won that race, but I'm kind of surprised that the outside won that race based on everything we had seen much of the rest of the evening.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, it's just circumstances just kind of dealt the hand that they had right there. And, man, he was up there at the front the whole race, so I'm not really too surprised to see him bring home the checkered flag tonight.
Yeah, we're going to hear from these drivers, trying to get them queued up right now in the waiting room. I'm going to try to grab these guys so we can move them in pretty quickly. It's a pretty big field here in the Mystic Racing League Discord.
Looks like Ellis, we got Kevin Winker in the waiting room, so we might be able to grab a word with him.
Let me move Daniel Dow into the waiting room as well. Give me just 1 second. We're going to go ahead and pull Kevin Winker into the broadcast booth right now, if I can find him. There we go. Hey, Kevin Winker, it's Ellis and Chris in the Slingshot broadcast booth. You got a copy, buddy?
Yeah, I got you, man.
Hey, man, congratulations. You were really a top 2 class of the field most of the evening. I know you don't have the win to show for it. Walk us through, let's go backwards. We saw that you were really engaged on that outside line for the early part of the race, but then you kind of switched to the bottom. What do you feel like? I know the outside line won the race, but what do you feel like was the better line throughout that you really preferred?
Definitely the bottom. I ran the truck race last night, and the top was preferred, so I figured that would kind of, carry over to this, but it just had no speed. I mean, you would get up there, it's like hitting a wall. So then halfway through there after stage 2, I was like, I'm just going to roll the bottom here, and then rolled the bottom there and made it work. And then I had a couple hairy moments. I think I got a bad bump from my teammate Dow, which sent me down to the apron and came back up. I said I had wheel damage, but I don't know how. But yeah, and then just that last restart, I was glued to his bumper, told him I was married to him, and we made it work out there.
That was going to be my next question. Your teammates with Daniel Dow, you clearly got 2 wins in a row. You were committed to pushing him to the win there, regardless of what happened?
Yeah, I mean, too many times I've ran this, and you get split up from your teammate or whoever, and it just ends in a wreck fest. So that's exactly what happened last night. I mean, I had no teammates last night, but I dominated the race and got wrecked on the last lap and finished 14th. So I was like, you know what, I'm just going to take the probably for sure top 5 and just go on next week. And good stage points tonight, good finishing. So, I'll take that. Sometimes you just got to settle and try not to wreck your teammate for the win. So.
Yeah, not a bad move at all. Hey, you didn't really put many feet wrong all night. I'm not even sure this was your fault, but walk us through that moment where you were almost 180 degrees sideways down on the apron, coming back into traffic that put you back a little bit and had to play catch up.
Yeah, it was wild. These cars, you can't really, I guess, slam draft them or bump them really hard like the trucks. So I think Dow just got a little too aggressive there and gave me a hell of a shot there in the backstretch, which got me all squirrely and sideways, and I kept it straight. And I came back up a little bit into somebody, but I think we kept it all straight. So that was definitely a hairy moment. These cars are definitely harder to drive than the trucks. Tire wear was a huge thing tonight. I don't know if you could see that, but yeah, these cars are totally different than the trucks. So you really gotta kind of play with the air and play with all that stuff. I mean, even one time I was on the bottom. I don't know if you caught on the broadcast, but I was on the bottom and I clipped the apron. And it just shot my car right up in front of down the outside.
We saw it.
Like, oh my God. And then he got in the wall because all the air got taken off him. So I was like, these cars are definitely a handful. I mean, they're fun to drive, but they're definitely a handful, and it really takes, all your talent and skill to be at the front there.
Yeah, man, you weren't the only one. Don't worry that had the OS moment there. Hey, man, congratulations on that 3rd place finish. We've seen you race the super speedways before with Slingshot Racing League, and man, we weren't surprised of your performance tonight. We know you got it, what it takes when it comes to this plate, or I guess no longer plate racing, but super speedway racing. You got any shout outs before we let you go celebrate that podium finish?
Yeah, I just want to give a shout out to my sponsor, Bruce Muehlberger Custom Homes, Cranborn sponsored me in all my leagues. I know he's watching tonight. Disappointed him last night, obviously after leading damn near the whole race. So tonight we didn't lead as many laps, but we still led a chunk, so I'll take that. And I missed season opener last week, so I'm kind of behind the points a little bit, but this definitely helped, kick us off to a good start. And then we'll go into, I don't know where we race, I think Phoenix, but we'll go into there and see what we can do. And then I want to thank all Winker Nation, my girlfriend Shauna, Brandon, Justin, Brett, Nicole, Dylan, Gordon, Travis, Albert Anderson, all them guys that come out every night to support me. I can't thank them enough, so a big shout out to those guys. Shout out to us, Nate Cogdell, Exonic Graphic Design for the paints. If you need any paints, t-shirts, stickers, any stuff, you can check them out on Facebook or anything. Hit them up for all that stuff. Then all my Rev boys, Madden, Nixon, Dow. I know Madden had some big issues tonight starting the back, and then he got caught up in a wreck, so hate that for him. And then Nixon got some penalty on the restart or the choose cone, so that put him back, and then he got a more X, so it sucked for him because he definitely had a strong car. I think we probably could have finished 1, 2, 3 if he was up there, but yeah, shout out to those guys every week. Put in the work. We work well together at the plate track, so and then shout out to Dow for getting the win. We worked that out well. So and then shout out to the league for putting this on. I know it's a whole new thing coming, so it definitely has its moments, but it's going pretty good. Here all the admins putting a lot of time and effort into making a good product. So shout out to them, and then last but not least, shout out to you for putting the broadcast. We appreciate it, man.
Hey, we appreciate you. Congratulations, Kevin Winkert, third place finish tonight. Have a great one.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks. All right, so you heard from third place. We're going to hear from Adam Holston, a bridesmaid tonight after leading that next to last lap. He's in the interview room right now.
Adam Holston, our second place finisher. This is the SRM booth. You got a copy, bud?
Sir.
Hey, man, we saw you all night. You were up there in the mix, it seemed like, all night. Up there in the top 5, 6 positions or so, first few rows. Walk us through your night. We heard Kevin Winker mention something a little bit about the handling on these things. It seemed like that was a bigger story than what we were anticipating maybe coming into the race.
Yeah, I agree with him there. There's definitely a little bit of handling issues. It'd get kind of loose through the bumps and maybe even tight if you're in the draft. So kind of had to work around that, but it wasn't too bad personally.
Yeah, it seemed like you didn't bother you too much at all. Did you have any really close calls at all tonight with any of the crashes? Is there anything that really, where something almost wound up in your lap? It seemed, like I said, that you were up there near the front the whole time.
Yeah, there was a couple times. One time a car went up into the wall out of 2 and got all squirrely. And then I think it was the leader one time. He got bumped off the high line or something. I'm not sure what happened, but he comes swipe right across my nose, just barely missed me. But I managed to get out of that, and that's when I took the lead with about 20 to go.
Absolutely, and you did a great job, and it was a great effort right there until the very end. Sometimes the speedway racing, man, it's really, really difficult to predict, but you definitely had your nose out there and in the win there in the closing stages. Next week, we're going to a really, really different type of track in Phoenix. What do you expect there? Is that going to be a good track for you, you think?
Honestly, I'm not expecting much out of Phoenix next week. I've not really had a good pass there, so we're going to have to put some practice in and see where we end up.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing you out there next week at Phoenix. Before we let you go celebrate the second place finish tonight, you got any shout-outs?
Yeah, I got a couple shout-outs. I'd like to thank my team, 5 Star Racing, for being on my back the whole way. And I got another shout-out to my boy Ron out there in the crowd watching the races.
All right, man. Well, hey, congratulations on a great second place finish tonight. We're looking forward to seeing you out here next week when we head to Phoenix.
All right, thank you, sir.
All right, you heard from Adam Holston there. We're going to pull in Daniel Dow, tonight's winner. Hey, Daniel Dow, this is Ellis and Chris in the Slingshot booth. You got a copy?
What's up, Ellis and Chris?
Hey, man. Well, first time talking to you. It's win number 2 in as many weeks. Congratulations. Hell of a run tonight. You ran really on the inside second, third much of the evening, but it was that last lap that counted. Walk us through that move you made down the back stretch to get the job done tonight.
Man, yeah, that was just like Daytona. It's all teammates, and I owe it all to them. We come off that last corner, and there had a gap between third and fourth, a pretty good little gap. So he was telling me, he said, if you want to take it, take it. I'm like, no, I'm just going to ride, and we'll just finish second. I don't want to jeopardize anything. Have a good finish. And then we get through the middle of turn 1 and 2, and I was like, all right, let's do it. So I shot to the outside, and he followed me and pushed me right up there, and I got right back down and ended up winning. It was close, and man, like I said, I just owe it all to my teammates. Really hate that Madden got wrecked out early, and then Nixon, he got wrecked out, and just a tough night for them. But other than that, we were all up there mixing it up pretty much most of the early part.
Man, it was fun out there. Tire wear was a little bit more noticeable than we had thought that it would be headed into this race. Kind of a trap to think that Atlanta's going to be your typical super speedway race. How bad was it by the end of the runs?
It was pretty good. We run trucks a lot, me and my teammates, and this is really kind of new to us for Xfinity, and just the drafting and tire wear both. Like the trucks, you can just drive so much harder and just have very little fall off. And these, when you get about 20 to 25 laps, they really start chattering a lot and getting free. You had to, back your entry up a little bit and kind of on off throttle through the middle part of the corner to save it a little bit. But it was definitely a handful for sure, but a lot of fun.
Well, man, it was fun to watch from up in the booth. Before we let you go celebrate that win, man, we're headed to Phoenix next week. We've had 2 super speedway races. What do you make of your chances next week when we head into Phoenix?
Man, I hate to be cocky, but I think I'll be talking to you next week too.
You're going to have to back that up. Now that you've said it, we're going to be talking about it. You've given us a storyline to follow. We're going to hold you to that to pull off
I'm going to win. I'm not saying I'm going to win. I just said I'll be talking to you. So top 3 would be a goal. It'd be a good goal to achieve.
All right, we'll see if you can pull off that hat trick next week at Phoenix. Before we let you go celebrate, any shout-outs you would like to give?
Yeah, definitely. First and foremost, my wife for allowing me to come in here and play on this iRacing thing, and also my sponsors. And yeah, there you go. And then also my sponsor, Sparkle and Shine, Sean Kozier, and again my teammates, man, they're something else. Really helped me out tonight.
Oh man, great job. We'll be holding you to that trifecta promise next week at Phoenix. That's Daniel Dell. Win number 2 for 2 weeks in a row at Daytona and Atlanta. Have a great night, Daniel.
Man, y'all too. Appreciate all y'all do. Thank you.
Absolutely. Appreciate you. All right, Chris, man, this race delivered. We weren't in town for Daytona, but Atlanta lived up to all the hype. Lots of great racing, lots of double file racing side by side, couple crashes, couple near crashes, some high speed, some high intensity racing, and a last lap pass that put Daniel Dow over the top of Adam Holson to win 2 races in a row. How do you feel about this first race we broadcast for the Mystic Racing League?
I thought it was great. These guys definitely put on a show. It was very entertaining from green flag to checkered flag. You don't really know what you're going to get sometimes, especially on a track like this. I think this place is more chaotic than Daytona and Talladega personally, just because it seems like everything just happens a lot quicker here than it does at those 2 tracks. So sometimes you just don't know what to expect, but these guys didn't disappoint at all. I know that there were some guys that maybe had some tough nights that were looking for better results. I'm going to be interested to see next week when we get to a more conventional racetrack to maybe see how some of our guys who have had good weeks sort of stack up, in these coming races. I wasn't disappointed at all though.
Yeah, it was a great race. In fact, let's talk about the finishing results. We've talked to the top 3. 4th place, Benjamin Gerhardt, man, fought back in that 1 car over the course of the evening after starting 19th. Hell of a finish. Perseverance for that number 1. Kudos to him. Adam Emery had an almost couple of incidents, finishes 5th in that 73. A lot of speed tonight. Stephen McComas, great. A lot of cars came from the back, Chris, and ended up finishing in the top 10. Just kept their nose clean, and they were there at the end. McComas in that 70 brings it home 6th. Reggie Kime, after nearly walking away with a win after starting on the outside with just a couple laps left, brings it home in the 7th position. David Moyer caught up in one of those last few crashes, brings it home 8th. Bobby Rafferty ran top 3 in most of the night. Gonna be okay probably with a 9th place finish, but probably wanted more. And definitely had more speed in that number 7. Joey Beam rounds out the top 10 in that number 41.
Yeah, and Ellis, I'll give another quick shout out to Benjamin Gerhardt. There were times, Ellis, where I saw that car where it had no hood. It was missing a hood.
That's right. I remember that.
He was damaged, more than one time. So, great perseverance out of him tonight. We'll go ahead and look at the rest of the order right here. Joshua Gillen's going to bring it home, and Alevo saw him near the front at certain points during the night as well after starting 27th. Landon Charlot's going to finish 12th. Alex Pollock going to bring it home in 13th. Bradley Knopfschneider is going to bring it home 14th. Brett Wren, we thank him for wearing a heart rate monitor tonight and all season. He's going to bring it home 15th. Zach White going to finish 16th. Andrew Shobe, we saw him get that John Deere machine in a couple of incidents. He's going to finish 17th. Christian Barnes in 18th. Robert McKay in 19th. And then David Wallace going to round out the top 20 tonight.
Yeah, it was Derek Jewett, man. That 21st place finish doesn't show the speed that driver in that 45 had all night long. Ended up getting caught up in a collision in the final 20 laps of the race. Brings it home in the 21st position. Nathan Nixon, another big story, led the first half of the race, the dominant car, Chris, and then got caught up in 2 collisions after kind of tagging Brett Wren earlier in the race, kind of incidental contact, but got the EOL penalty and put him back in harm's way and fell victim to that. He'll be back next week at Phoenix, though. Aaron Espy finishes 23rd in that 16. Jared Knopfschneider, 24th in the 82. Caleb Hunt brings it home 25th in that 78. Michael Madden, you mentioned his teammates mentioning him earlier, had a fast car but has to settle for 26th tonight. Aubrey Lord, 27th, and Drew Hensley, one of the first cars out in the race, finishes 28th. Final car in the field, Chris. Headed to Phoenix next week. You mentioned it. It's not going to be the same style of track we've raced the first 2 races of the season. The cream of the crop's probably going to start to rise just a little bit. Probably big point shakeups in store. We'll cover all those stories next week at Phoenix, folks. We appreciate you hanging with us for the last 2 hours tonight on Slingshot Racing Media. We are proud and thrilled to bring race number 2 of the Mystic Racing League season to you live. Tune in every week. Free Diecast giveaways, a lively chat. Promise we're working on that scoreboard ticker so you can read 11 through 20 for next week. And come join us again, same time, same night, same amazing racing action next week from Phoenix. From Atlanta, folks, it's Ellis and Chris for Slingshot Racing Media. Have a great week. We'll talk to you next Thursday.